Hello buddy, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be starting a brand new campaign with Wurrzag, the Savage Orcs. So let's go ahead and get in there. We are using the Steel Faith Overhaul mod, and then we're also going to be using Vandy's Right Packs and JR's Old World Skill Tree. The reason that we do this, Steel Faith, just an amazing mod. I've been doing a lot with it on the channel. If you haven't tried it out, give it a try. It adds a lot of extra strategic layer, makes the game a little bit more challenging at the top end, especially on Legendary. And then we'll talk about what the other stuff does, but it basically gives the old world factions, including me and you know, anyone else, Empire, Vampire Counts, Bretonnians, gives all of them rights, and they're pretty well balanced, so that they have the same kind of strategic opportunities as the factions in the base Total War Warhammer 2 game. And the skill modification doesn't actually add in a lot of new skills. All it does is shuffles them around a little bit and then gives you that tier 2 where you're able to get, when you get to rank 7 on your units, then you get upgrades on some of them. So in other words, it's just trying to make the old world factions in a fair and balanced way look very, very similar to the new world factions, which I think ends up making it a bit more interesting. And all of our enemies and allies and everyone's going to have that same stuff. So I think it puts everyone on just a better even footing. Okay, now for those of you that were watching, I was doing a Skarsnik campaign. Just the real quick summary is I got trolled hard on turn like 8. It was like episode 8 or episode 10, and I think I'm just not gonna finish it. I ended up losing the campaign off of that. I just don't like publishing campaigns where I lose. It is a hard campaign. It was a lot of fun, but I've already tried to... I do have a campaign with Skarsnik on the main channel from like a year and a half ago where we were doing very well, and then we just moved on to something else. But I think I'm going to take a break from Skarsnik for a little bit, just because I've tried to run through this like 4 different times, and it's like very intense and very frustrating at times with some of the mechanics. Like last time, and then we'll move on and talk about what we're going to do here with Wurrzag. But the thing that happened to me was I blocked an army, but I forgot to end the turn. And on Legendary, if you don't end the turn, it doesn't save, and you can't go back to any previous saves. And then I sat there and tried to save, or like not save scum it, it's not exactly the same thing, but I had closed out of the program, came back in, and so of course that action had not been completed because it didn't save because I didn't end the turn. So it stopped where I won the battle on that turn. And then I was at a 70% chance to block army, and I tried to emulate that just so I got the block army result 30 times. Like I restarted the game, I turned off my computer, everything 30 times, and it would not block that army again, even though I had blocked it originally. And so I went through with it. Because it wasn't blocked, they killed one of my armies, and we just lost too much momentum off of that. But anyways, we will revisit Skarsnik at some point again, you know, maybe over the next few months. But I just want to try out something fresh, something different. It's still Greenskins. It's still going to be challenging. It's still going to be fun. But let's try out Wurrzag here. I do have another Wurrzag campaign on the channel as well, but I'm just kind of cycling back through and trying out new stuff with Steel Faith, and since all the patches that have happened over the last year. So Wurrzag, enemy heroes have minus 50% chance on you, so that's great. They can't just spam block army or wound your people or whatever, so that's really handy. Plus 25 charge bonus for all Savage Orc units is fantastic. Income from settlements plus 10%, which is good. And then his Lord effect, Savage Orcs get extra physical resist, upkeep reduction, and you get extra unit capacity, which is nice. So let's go ahead and get in here. We'll talk about how it goes down. So this one is decidedly a little bit not as hardcore as Skarsnik, but I still think that it's a good challenge. And I just can't go through the motions again. Like I said, I know people may have been hyped about that Skarsnik campaign. I've dropped like 20 hours on that thing trying to get through it, and I think I've learned a lot, and I think that I can definitely give it another really good run. I was setting up to be one of the best campaigns on the channel. Like every episode was just hardcore fights. Like it was very, very hard. And we were doing so well until we got trolled on that one, and then there was another thing that happened later.
The green gods
but
have
we'll
led
come back
you
to it.
Ekrund, Lord Wurrzag. What do they whisper now?
But this one will still be a little rough, which is good. We like it rough. But okay. So Savage Orcs, pretty much, they're going to have almost no defense, typically very low melee defense, very low armor. They do have physical resist, but they have really high charge bonus and really high weapon strength. So they're very good early in the game, particularly against other relatively low armored units. So they're very good against other Greenskins, very good against like early Tomb King units, like skeletons and things like that. Good against vampire counts. That'll be handy. And with this one, we actually do start with a shaman. The Skarsnik campaign, they, and I promise I won't allude to that through the entire campaign, but you never get a shaman, and you can't ever get a shaman, because you just can't sit down and get the growth to get one for a very long time. And there was one time where I went through where it just gave me one randomly, on like turn 5 or something. But that's only happened once. But the shamans are really, really powerful, really handy with the Greenskins. I like what they've done with the magic too. They've made, they nerfed sneaky stabbing a lot. I guess that was probably like a year and a half ago or something they nerfed sneaky stabbing. But this used to be AoE. It used to affect everybody in a range and gave them all this huge buff. The 30 melee attack and armor piercing and all that. But now it's just one unit, and you can't overcast it to do more. So that was a really big nerf, particularly to multiplayer Greenskins. At one point, I was ranked like 275 in the world in multiplayer. That was a long time ago. It's like a year and a half, 2 years ago almost. But, yeah, that was a key part of that success, and I played a lot of Greenskins. So they nerfed that, which kind of sucks. Itchy, I think, is similar to what it used to be. They changed the stats around a little bit. But that's really, really good. That does affect everybody in a 40-meter range, and it's minus 25% weapon damage and minus 35 melee attack. So it makes it really hard for them to fight back against you. Very, very powerful. Vindictive Glare, I haven't tried this out. I don't think it's that amazing. Historically, it just hasn't been that good. But, you know, that might help us out against, like, dragons or flying lords or something at some point, but we probably won't use it that much. No, Gork will fix it. I honestly don't even remember what this used to do. But it was bad. But now I think that it's certainly worth considering because it's only 6 to overcast it. It lasts for 21 seconds. It lowers Vigor, though. That is huge. Very, very important because Vigor controls everything about a unit a lot of times. Like, if something has low Vigor, it's going to get reduced armor, it's going to get reduced melee attack, melee defense, move speed, morale. All of their stats are tied to Vigor. So if things are tired, they do a lot worse in combat, which makes sense, right? So you can cast this from 200 range out, which is really nice. And lower their Vigor. It also lowers their speed, so it's hard for them to run away, and it lowers their charge bonus. So if they want to run at you, then they're going to have a lot less charge bonus. So this is a very good just setup, like right when you are about to charge and just slam them with your Savage Orcs, which you're going to do a lot. You should be charging a lot as Savage Orcs and charge cycling. So you have huge charge bonuses. This will really crush them if you do that. And then Night Shroud, they changed around. This used to be pretty bad. It's still not amazing, but it does have 300 range. And it doesn't say it's in an area. Oh, it's only target if it's self or ally. Okay, I was thinking that you could target enemies with this too, but I guess not. But yeah, okay, so it can just basically give your unit stalk and move speed. Okay, that's not that good then. That kind of sucks. I was thinking that maybe if you could cast that on an enemy, like enemy archers or something, you could lower their visibility and just basically take them out, or like artillery or something. But that doesn't appear to be the case. It's kind of weird. Like, I wish that it had that utility where you could cast it on yourself to stalk, or you could cast it on them to make them potentially invisible, but also make it to where they can't see you. I think that would be really cool, but it doesn't appear that that's what actually goes on. And then this, most of these, like, randomly moving vortexes suck, but I think with Steel Faith, they've changed this around to make it more of a utility spell. So now, if it touches somebody, then it gives them, you know, minus 35 melee attack, minus 22 armor, speed, all of this reduction. So it does do some damage, but the main reason you would cast this is to just get this debuff on everyone when you charge in there. So, pretty good. I would say that the little goblin used to be one of the best wizards in the game. I don't think it's still really good, but there's other great stuff out there too. Like fire magic's very good. Vampire magic's still really strong. But it's certainly pretty good. And then the big wah, which is what we'll probably move to. I almost never used to get this because the little wah was just so good with the sneaky itchy combo. But you still get Fist of Gork, which would be pretty good, which we might get eventually. It can only affect one unit, so that's kind of whatever. I don't know. We might still go with the mini. It's, Itchy Nuisance is just so good. But they do have a couple of good things. This is a huge one, though, the Here We Go. Now, it's going to be important to keep in mind, too, with the Savage Orcs, that you can very easily go over the cap on your attack. So if you have more than 45 melee attack, then they have melee defense, then it's a wasted stat. So you actually don't want to go over the cap. So that's why I think that things like Itchy are better, because it lowers their melee attack. So you're already going to be hitting 85% of the time if you get a good charge off with these guys. But anyways, let's go ahead and now... Okay, cool. They have this as well. So you can raid... Yeah, we want the Arrow Boys. Now, what does this look like? So you can raid, and it replenishes, and you have global recruitment, and all of these other really cool bonuses. So I like what they've done with the Greenskins with this mod. We do have a Giant, which is going to be great. So I think casualty replenishment is going to be at a huge premium in this campaign, because all of our units are going to get really injured in fights because we have no armor. We do a lot of damage, but it's just kind of like, just go out in a blaze of glory. Savage Orcs. Okay. Now, do I want to raid? I would kind of like to be able to fight some people here, so I might just raid my own stuff. Top Knotz is down there. I remember Top Knotz is a menace early on. Okay, so we'll go ahead and raid our own stuff. Now, raiding does lower growth, though. Maybe it's not worth it, because I would actually like some growth.
The Great Simon. Wurrzag will do it.
Oh, we can actually... Oh, they're pretty expensive. Huh. They're only 132 upkeep, though. I would like some Arrow Boys.
Wurrzag.
We do have a couple. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and hold off on that then.
I has my mystic powers.
And then we'll hit them up next turn. Yeah, they shouldn't have that much. And this stuff's actually going to be injured at the start. Yeah, that'll be a pretty good fight. And then... That's adjacent provinces. That's not my current province. Boss Tent. Now, I kind of have to decide, do I want to go growth? Or... And I could get a Squig Herd. Do we need this, though? How fast is it? It's pretty fast. I mean, having something fast just to run down and kill people at the end, because, I mean, I guess we do have the Boar Boys, but, like, having one more, like, I could see, like, having one Squig Herd in here. Just for running down and killing. Okay, I like that, and that's going to give us some growth. Adjacent provinces also get some growth, and it does give us some replenishment. Which would be handy. They did nerf the gold generation a lot. Like, you have to raid and sack and all of that to be effective. And I like that. That's a very Greenskin kind of thing. So I like that. And we can build these Savage Orc buildings anywhere on the map, which is great. So we're probably not even going to be using normal Orcs. I like the Savages a lot more. They have a bigger charge bonus. They just do Orc things better than normal Orcs. Although, if we can get up to tier 4, I am interested in Black Orcs. As we will need a front line. They are expensive, but they're very, very strong frontline unit. Okay, and just a couple of things they shifted about this really... Well, I can just talk about it as we're going through, so we get some turns going here. I guess I could have tried to do some diplomacy or something, but whatever. We can't get any techs until we get to the rock lobber building at tier 3. So, or we get 10,000 gold. But, couple of main things that I noticed they changed about the trees. The giants are now tier 4, and the Arachnoid spider's tier 5. I think that's fair because usually the Arachnoid spider was thought in the base game to be way better than giants. Giants in general are slow, and they have low armor, and they have a huge hitbox. So they can just get focus fired out by archers really heavily if you don't take care of that. Now they could be good against, you know, huge infantry balls, so things like that don't have a lot of missile units that are like just big melee blobs of infantry. So things like chaos, things like vampire counts. It could be pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna do faction-wide caps. Army end caps, which means we get a certain limit on certain like, top tier units. I think we can only have so many boars, so many giants, things like that. It just forces diverse armies, and I like that. That's cool.
Let's take
Alright, so let's go smash them.
ours. Spells time. Let's fight.
Really? It thinks they're stronger than me. Okay, we just have to deal with these air boys. Or like, yeah. Just get up in these goblins' face, run them, mow them over, and then just use our archers to take out their archers. I think we have a pretty good chance here. Not gonna lie, I think we have a pretty good chance here. So yeah, the giants are a little more accessible at tier 4. They changed a couple of things about them. They gave them like a very small aura that gives everybody like +4 melee defense, which isn't huge, but it just reinforces that you want to just use them as kind of like a centerpiece to your infantry line. So see, they have light armor, like 35 armor. I don't know why it's... Oh, because I'm hovering over other things. Anti-infantry, they did give it more damage as well, I think. A little bit more damage on the giant. Obviously has a ton of health. But it's just slow. It does have really high melee attack. So, it's pretty good. I think that... And they nerfed the Arachnoid, how much AoE damage the Arachnoid does. We'll go ahead and start deployment. God, it feels good to have magic again. Oof. Oh, he has magic also. I forgot about that. Interesting. Okay. So he has Gaze of Mork. Okay, probably not great, but this might be pretty good. This Brain Buster. We'll try it out. Weak against armor. Greenskins also have a new mechanic that is this, which gives you extra melee attack and minus on the melee defense, which fits Savages perfectly.
Better underground.
Wurrzag! Run, boys! Shifty! Get up! Shifty!
I think our arrow boys are going to be stronger than our goblins. I'm not 100% about that. But we have more range than they do. We do a lot more damage.
Run, boys!
I think we should be able to gun them down.
Shifty! Austin!
Night Goblin Simon. Running.
Run, boys! Ready! All set it, we do it! Let's have some!
Find the dark.
Moving fast!
Pretty good range, not insane range.
Here we go! Arrow boys! Smash 'em! Smash 'em! Ready to bash! Shifting! Moving fast!
why they got this close. Ooh, that actually did quite a bit of damage. Alright.
Almost ready. Terror boys, moving fast.
Wow, these goblins are... These things move too close. Like, I should outrange them by a pretty good margin.
Moving fast. 60. Wait for war.
Yeah, it's just taking too long. Let's just get in there. Okay, so it looks like those goblins are actually a little bit better. Better than you would suspect.
Shifty. This is it. Super jams. Arrow boys. Face me. Run, boys. Whoever. This is it. Renegades! Run, boys! Error boys! I understand! Time for slaughtering!
Night Goblin Simon! Hey! Fast move!
We're the brain time! Moving fast! Error boys! Music! Listen! Shifty! Run, boys! Moving fast! Ah! This is it! Battle! I understand! This is it! Shifty! Run, boys! Let's get them! Let's have it! Shifty! Better! Right then! 16! Where's the scrap? Yeah! Wurrzag! Ah! Run, boys! We're the green tide! Boys ready! Order! More cold! Ah! Slower!
Night Goblin Simon! Ready! Fast move!
Here we go!
Now, obviously, the Savage Orcs are going to be, you know, vulnerable to missile units, right? They don't have shields, you know, they don't have armor.
The war is here! The war is here! Great Wurrzag! Savage Orcs!
Really? The goblins aren't going to run. Their whole army's running.
Here we go! Come on then!
Like, nah, man, we're good.
Where's the spec? Moving
Tag
fast!
legendary, where like every enemy unit's unbreakable, just
Terror
about.
boys! Move on war! Shotters ready! Shifting! Nice bit of scrapping!
Yeah, I do think having a couple of squigs to deal with this. Okay, so these arrow boys are not. They ain't no goblin archers. Goblin archers were extremely effective in my Scars in the campaign, way more than I thought they would be. But part of it's because they're so cheap and there's just so many of them in a battalion. Who's alive still, these guys? I was waiting until they completely run out of arrows. Let the game.
Run, boys! Moving fast! Fashion! Oh, what's What you want? It's me.
That's fine. I mean, some of the air boys actually did kill some stuff, but... That giant is kind of expensive, though. I'm gonna occupy because I want to take this whole territory. I'd love to have the money, but I would also like some intact buildings. I should have just sacked it. Jesus. Yeah, so you get like 2,000 for sacking it, and this building's like 500 gold worth. I was hoping I would get it at tier 2 or something, maybe. I didn't check what the tier was before I attacked it. I assume it was tier 2, but... I guess I should just sack everything. Let's go from there.
Let's take what should be ours.
Now, one thing they did do with this mod is that for both your faction and the enemy factions, you get 3 points for the first 5 levels, and then after that it's down to 1 point. And the reason that I was kind of on the fence about this. I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. I thought it might make it too easy. But it just, especially in the mid-game, it makes it a lot nicer when you're hiring new lords. You don't have to sit there and just, like, raid your own territory and farm rebellions because you're too weak to go fight an actual army because you don't have the skills. So it's just kind of a time saver later. And it also makes the enemy a lot more relevant. So if they hire, you know, a new lord and they're going to... On Steel Faith, usually they start at level 7. Then they're going to have all of their skills that they're relevant if they hire. So I just think it keeps the games, just keeps the pace moving, and, you know, just makes for overall a better experience. Now, we do have some of this magic here. So we could get some of his magic if we needed to. But because we have the goblin guy, then we probably won't. Brutal lads. Okay, so this is for savage orcs only. Artillery shooters, savage riders. Now, that's all savage orcs, including boars, with the +8. And this is an extra 8 for units on boars. And they have this stuff, so that is more boys, black orcs. I don't know what black orc bosses are. You might only be able to get that in a certain place. But I don't think I can hire those right off the bat. Then they have this little retinue of stuff here that you can get, which is pretty cool. We saw this with the Skarsnik campaign, like interesting trade-offs. We'll kind of check those out when we get there. Out cleavering is actually pretty powerful, that 30% ambush chance. Plus 15% when laying siege. Huh. That's interesting. Local recruitment capacity for everybody is great. Casualty replenishment and sacking is awesome. Minus 10% on giant units. That's kind of cool. Okay, so overall some pretty cool stuff. Upkeep production, extra winds of magic, squiggly beast. Lots of shaman levels, that's cool. Oh wow. So whenever you cast a spell, it's plus 16 melee attack on everybody and charge bonus. That is nice. Okay, so we might want to get a little magic on him here in a while, but I think first off, definitely put him on the board here. 12% damage resistance on everybody. So go with that, and then magical attacks are extremely good against other Savage Orcs because it cuts through all their physical resist. So we absolutely want that. Now that is a little weaker against dwarfs, but ultimately you want that because the Savage Orcs are your big nemesis early on. And I think Root Marcher probably. I don't know. Getting all of this stuff over the next couple of levels would be really nice, though. Let's just go with Intimidating Presence. Start with, we get Spleen Ripper. We didn't level up with him, unfortunately. Yeah, I think just get that crap out of there, and we could just go for more growth. I think popping up to tier 3 and getting this Tinker Bench going, like, ASAP is really handy. So being able to get a boss shack. And of course this stuff here. I don't know, this is a new unit with the Steel Faith mod, this Savage Orc Moorboys. Looks super expensive. 65 weapon strength is pretty huge. I don't know if they get the bonus against large or not. It says bigger and harder, but they are frenzied. I guess every Savage Orc is frenzied. Trying to compare them to these. Only 100 instead of 120. Leadership's the same. Melee attack is 40 versus 33. 25 melee defense is the same. Yeah, okay, they do look a bit stronger. So yeah, we want to get to tier 3, get to those as soon as we can. Is this worth upgrading? Extra Untainted? Probably not. Yeah, so I think over here we just go ahead and... Yeah, I'd rather just have more growth and more replenishment. So they're probably going to be seeing a lot of these buildings for a while. This is like good eventually, or like a boss shack eventually, but I think I want to fight at least one rebellion before we do that. Wurzag's Goblin Tower Watch. Wow, that gives you Savage Orcs and Orc Airboys. That's going to be very good for defending later on. It's really nice. Okay. So we got that. A little more money. Waiting on the rest of this. I mean, go ahead and grab that, or we could just grab some more Savage Orcs.
Green Prophet.
Expensive. It's 461. I guess that's not like insanely expensive. I was thinking if it's even worth having this giant. I mean, he'll be very good on sieges because he is a siege attacker, and he'll be very good against dwarfs. If, you know, we can stop the like quarrelers from focus firing him. Okay, so let's grab
One
Squig Herd. And there's a couple more savages. We're just getting those squigs just to run people down at the end, remember? Or just to help flank a little bit. Wondering if I want like one more Squig Herd. They are pretty good, like... I mean, they're not nearly as good as these guys are, I don't think, on the line. But just having a bit more mobility. I think having like 2 of those, just so I can go and tie up artillery or archers or whatever and just keep them busy for a while. We'll go with that, and then...
Now then, boys. Huh?
Probably gonna kill Red Fangs. Gabby Eye, probably kill them too. Could try to confederate with top knots. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. Okay. I want to go over and get the mountains and try to get Carrick 8 Peaks. I don't think we get anything, like, certainly nothing as special as the people that are racing for it, but Clan Moors starts over there. I'm pretty sure when you play against them on Mortal Empire, so smashing some Skaven could be good. I think that Savage Orcs are very good against Skaven. I mean, we'll find out. So yeah, we should definitely sack and then occupy, because the buildings are so cheap, unless it's like a super high tier building. Do I want Empire to stand so they don't fight each other? That would give them better resistance against like Norska and Chaos later on. Sure, that'll make it a bit harder on us if we ever want to go up there and fight them, but...
Green Prophet.
Oh, if they take that, we're fighting.
I
want
have
this whole
seen the
province.
future. I use my spells. This is my land.
I think they lowered the base growth on the towns. That's what it feels like. It feels like Greenskins used to grow really quickly. Maybe I've been playing Skaven too much, but that's what I think. Okay. That's all good. Yeah, we want to get to tier 3, get that rock bobber, get these upgrades going. Yeah, and then the Savage Orc stuff at tier 3 is very good. The boars, all that. Okay, yeah, we're fighting them then. I think the last time I did this campaign, I did a non-aggression with them really early because they were so powerful.
I, as mighty
And then I was in this bind here. Do I want beastmen showing up everywhere? No. I want to say no. It's just kind of annoying. They just show up randomly and start backdooring towns. Or if they just like take out an enemy you're about to fight and they sort of take your glory. Sneaky stabbing. Itchy, definitely. You ever feeling itchy, dear? Yeah.
Great Prophet. All right then, let's do it.
Would you consider it a
Start
nuisance?
the war.
Who's that kid? Is that Rory's baby picture?
Yeah. Alright, let's fight him. Who else is fighting? I mean, I'd love to confederate with them. That'd be cool and everything, but
Spit it out.
they are in my
But
way.
it better be
What is
good.
this? Numos. Okay.
What you
Warning
want?
on the back of this. Not intended for children 13 years old and under. Certain components may contain trace amounts of lead. Do not place items
powers.
in mouth or ingest.
I see.
It's a baby's first Christmas photo ornament.
That's cute.
Mork has come.
Yeesh.
Killing time.
Let's do it. We get a couple of good fights this episode. Now keep in mind, we have magic attacks. That's gonna be huge here. If they don't have that upgrade, I'm not sure if they can do that. I think it might only be Wurrzag who can give everybody magical attacks. I know the goblins can give everyone poison with dripping tips, which is really nice, but these magical attacks, that's a huge problem for Greenskins. You know, in the Skarsnik campaign, we kind of ran into that a little bit when we were fighting those Belagar and his little ghost retinue there. They were so hard to kill because we can't get magical attacks. So the fact that you have that with Wurrzag is very, very handy. Crush them. Let's try to power through. Now he can't get on this. They took the mount away from. I'm pretty sure they used to be able to get a mount, a little wolf mount, on the wizards, and they took that away because once again, Little Wall was really strong. I don't know if it was so strong you had to take their mount though. It seemed a little harsh.
To battle. 60.
These cowards out of here.
Wurrzag.
Now Savage Orcs also don't get tired as easily because they aren't wearing any armor.
Ready. Water. Moving fast.
We'll wait till we're about to hit him. I guess I could have stepped up front and got a... Oh, he's on a board, isn't he? I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, let's have him flank then with the rest of the crew.
60. Shut out. Let's fight. Shifting. Boston. Let's go back. Come on, boys. Let's go. 60. Let's go. Spouse 60. Let's go.
That hurt some of my own units quite a bit there.
Boys. Time for slaughtering.
I think I did end up blowing up a lot of my own dudes with that, which not good.
Let's have some. Boston. He's their will.
Sure don't blast my own dudes too much there.
Where's the scrap? What I need? Moving fast.
Oh crap. Get him, time up, time up. Oh my god. For real? They love to aim for your little heroes and things in this a lot more than in the past. You really gotta keep up with that.
More spills is slow. 60. Boston.
We still not killing tanks.
They're off. Boys ready. 60. Boston! Way back! Get on!
Only one down.
This is it! Let's have it! More than Wow! Savage Oaks! Green Prophet! 60! Rep! Time for slaughtering! We're off! Here we go! Smash him!
Dog will fix it.
Run, boys! Smash him! Ready? Run, boys! What you want? Run, boys!
I'll catch them.
Ah! Moving fast! Bring it!
Okay, well I guess those squigs not performing as well as I was hoping.
Like Dublin Simon.
Great Wurrzag! More likes it! Boston! Basham! Shifty! Arrow boys! Yes, boss! Run, boys! Moving fast! Filter!
Alright, why is he running? He got hit by something.
Moving fast! Nice bit of scrapping! We're the great time! Wurrzag! Get out, boys! 60! Boston! 60! Field away! Boston!
Can I get a clean shot on him?
60!
Maybe not.
Right in! Let's get some! Boston! Right in! Ah! Arrow boys! This moves! Dead like great trumpet! Wurrzag! Moving fast! Shifty!
And he is hard running.
Yes, indeed!
This is a pretty tough one. This is tougher than I thought it was gonna be. I thought the magical attacks would just crush him. Does not appear to be the case.
Nice can't defeat me! Nova! Yeah! Ah! Bring it on! Let's get 'em! Run, boys! Moving fast! Sifting all the power! Wurrzag! More likes it!
Does that effigy actually do damage? Yeah, it causes some
Why
damage.
is it been supposed?
How many kills does this giant get? 53. He was sitting in a pack of infantry the whole time. Well, that's false. I guess he was fighting the Lord for a little bit. Jeez. Okay. Well, that was a much tougher fight than I was expecting. I thought because of the magical attacks, we basically do like 40% extra damage to them. They don't get any of their damage resistance. Well, not that much. 25% extra damage.
Come on, it's here!
Those guys deal so much, though. I'm not sure this giant's worth it, then, honestly. He's about the price of 3 battalions of Savage Orcs. So maybe I'll just get rid of him, and then... Now, the good news is none of our battalions got wiped, so we should be able to replenish. And we have those 2 things that are giving us a lot more replenishment, the growth buildings. So we should be able to replenish back. But yeah, the giant's disappointing, considering his cost, right? Like, this guy costs... Because I get a reduction on Savage Orcs, this guy costs like 3 or 4 times. Probably close to like 3 times with Savage Orcs. You know, does 56 justify... I don't know. Like, yeah, he'll be good on sieges, but... I had to get rid of the Arachnarok Spider in the other campaign just because I can't afford it this early. Like, it's just not as strong. These boar boys are, those things are putting in some work every fight. They're doing a lot. I might have to just dismiss the giant so I can hire more stuff. Oh, well, there's no point in sacking this, I suppose. Yeah, I should definitely sack most places. Oh, and we did get it at tier 2. Why did we get this one at tier 2 after it had this had already been sacked and occupied by the other Savage Orcs, and now I'm occupying it, and we get it at tier 2? It's like, what?
Cork and Morcock coming!
Okay, so I think we're just gonna go with Brutal Lads here. Charge bonus. That's more than like a lot of cav. 92 charge bonus. That's what I'm talking about. So like when you charge, you're over the cap. Like the extra melee attack is not
Let's
gonna
take
matter.
what should be ours.
Do I keep him around? I mean, he is nice to be able to put up against other lords because he has so much health. Just to kind of stick in there. He does cause terror, which can be helpful psychologically. I mean, these guys are like immune to psych as long as their leadership's over 50. But I'm just imagining during like a dwarf siege or something, you could just put him in there because they don't have good anti-large. So maybe he could just sit there and do a lot of damage there. Is he worth having 3 more, though? What do I want to put here? Let's think about that. We don't need goblin stuff. We're probably not going to get normal boar stuff, either. We just get this every time, unless we want a tier 4 place where we can get these. Now, I don't know where those Black Orc bosses they're talking about are. You might have to have, like, maybe you have to control this place up here first. I don't know. Okay, so our option is more money from raiding, recruitment, Faction wide, that's really nice. You can get that recruitment cost down like minus 100%, just free units. That seems legit. So if I control like 50 provinces, and you get 2 charge bonus, wow, and +1 fightiness when in a foreign territory if you level that all the way up. That's nice. That's a pretty cool little like unit that you could get here. Where do we get that fightiness? That's the very last one. That's insane. If you have like 10 of those and you're constantly getting +10 fightiness. Yeah, it doesn't give you much else. It does give everybody a little bit of charge bonus, +1. Income from raiding +10%, all factions. Let's see. I think we just go growth, and eventually we can do a boss 10 if we need to, but... I mean, this extra, like, +1 obedience in all adjacent provinces is handy. And the recruitment cost. Maybe I should just go with this. Because if I have, like, 3 of these, especially when there's all these places that are going to be adjacent, that could be really nice public order-wise. Now we need to get up to 17 soon so that we can get a wall.
More likes it.
I guess we'll keep the giant. If for no other reason, then he can just sit there and like mess around with the enemy lord and just be this big meat stick. I hope we can beat that. I mean, if they take it, I guess they could burn it, but it's kind of annoying.
Wurrzag, the great green prophet.
The terror is definitely relevant, too, to get people to run. I'm trying to justify it in my mind, as you can see. I mean, once I move up and get, like, a higher tier unit, maybe... I do need to upgrade this stuff.
I have seen the future.
That's 4 units of Savage Orcs I could have for that. Yeah, I might have to get rid of him right now. Well, I mean, his stats look so good, like 70 melee attack, all this extra defense, and huge weapon strength. But ultimately, I think the savages are just better. So I might have to get rid of him. I have not been impressed.
I ain't doing that.
Okay.
More
Don't
greenskins.
like us more?
I always like something to fight.
Go over there and fight the Red Fangs. Who are they fighting? Dwarfs, Red Fangs, and Clan Ongrund. Okay. Okay, we're pretty much at time. I would really like to confederate with the Greenskins proper, because then I can get, you know, the legendary lords, Azog and Grimgor. It says the Red Fangs are way stronger than I am. Wound or kill. Okay, Pigeon Plucker Pendant. For flying units. Extra with the Red Fangs. I mean, I guess I could try to befriend... Red Fangs do have a lot of property. I could try to befriend the Red Fangs instead of the Greenskins proper. But that, I mean, the Legendary Lords are so valuable. Do I even mess with these guys? These guys can hire. They are they on their own territory hiring? They're on my territory. Okay, I need to come over here and just grab this territory. How much?
Fine.
These guys are at war with me. We have 3.
It is time.
Can I hold that up there? Okay, we'll figure it out next episode. We got to decide if we want to come down here and try to wipe these guys out. Maybe that would be smarter. Even though I can't hold this territory probably right now. If I get a wall, I can probably take out the guys. But yeah, we'll figure it out next episode. So thank you very much. If you really like the campaign, be sure to watch some more of it, right? Go through 3-4 episodes. If you find yourself watching 3 or 4 episodes and you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe. You know, there aren't many people out there that do Steal Faith on Legendary that give the kind of in-depth explanations that I give as I'm going along, so you can kind of follow the strategy, and if you want to try to play it yourself, you know, you can go through and have a good Legendary campaign as well. Yeah, it looks like it should be a lot of fun. You know, our Goblins coming online. We've got lots of good fights coming up, so stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.